Greetings Anonymous. I have been watching your work against Scientology, and I am pleased. I am a child of Scientology. This is part of my story. My parents met in the church and married after knowing each other for a very short time, despite their age difference. They did this because Thetans are billions of years old. By the time I was born, my mother had been declared a suppressive person, and they no longer worked for the organization you who are legion have protested so bravely and so honorably. However, they both still believed in the tech. The damage had been done. My earliest memories are being told by my parents that I was a Thetan, a spiritual being defined as an awareness of awareness. I did not have a soul. I am a Thetan who had a body. When I died, I would find a new body. No biggie. When my cats died, they went and found new bodies, and came back to our family, as different cats. One cat had come back 4 times. I had chosen my body before my birth. Everything about my life I had planned out. As a fetus I communicated with my parents, telling them my sex, what I wanted to be named, and what my astrological sign would be. I had told them I was a powerful being who had come into this world with a great purpose. Before living on Earth I had traveled throughout the galaxy with my mother. In a past life I was her mother. Basically they taught me I was a god. One of my superpowers, called postulate, allowed me to change the world with my mind. They used my godliness like a superpower credit card, ordering me to postulate for such trivial things as finding a good parking space. Another superpower was telepathy. I was encouraged to resolve conflicts with other children by talking to their Thetans in my head. As you can expect, this did very little to handle my problems. Frequently, when I needed to quote-unquote destimulate, I would be locked in a room by myself. Because I was crying in pain, being isolated did nothing to calm me down. I have so many memories of being picked up and thrown into this room, banging on the walls begging to be let out, that it all sort of blurs together. One incident sticks out. I had cried myself silent and crawled under the bed. When my mother finally opened the door, I threw a racquetball with all the strength my weak little arms could muster, thinking that, if crying and screaming did not work, that this would, and she would listen to me. I was wrong. Instead she demanded, what, if this had been a knife, and insisted that I was so powerful, the ball itself could have become a knife in transit. This proved that I wanted to injure her, which in turn proved I enjoyed seeing her suffer. L. Ron Hubbard taught that toxic doses of niacin flush out toxins. As a child I had niacin flushes and sauna treatments on a regular basis. Touch assists were used in lieu of real medicine to treat my chronic medical conditions. One of my medical conditions made it almost impossible to wake up. Once I fell back asleep, as I got out of bed, and collapsed against the door, cutting my cheek and leaving a black eye. This was told to other people, as something I did deliberately, just to prove a point. I was 10. Though the treatment is simple, for most of my life I suffered from this untreated, and acknowledged medical problem. My suffering was compounded by Scientology teachings, a sort of mind over matter. My problems were a result of my overts, which are Scientology sins. So most nights, before I went to bed, I was told to quote-unquote decide that every hour of sleep counts for 2 hours, as if that would somehow magically increase the amount of time I slept. In Scientology you are also not supposed to grieve. Death is just the Thetan leaving the old body to find a new body. So when my grandmother died, in spite of my postulates that she would live, I was coached to approach her deathbed and whisper into her ear that she could go now, that it was okay for her to die. My emotional deadness horrified my non-Silan relatives, who were quite understandably resisting the imminent death of their beloved sister and grandmother. But this episode somehow proved my own maturity to my Silan parents. I was 11. Even though I grew up and escaped, I am still haunted by these memories. The damage has been done. Scientology is emotional and often physical child abuse. It is an evil cult which preys on people with emotional, physical, or psychiatric problems, and denies them the care they need to get well. I am anonymous. I will not forgive. I will not forget.